Morning, guys. So I'm down here to Berkey. Just kind of going through the barn, assembling any parts and stuff that I think we might need, or tools, I guess, to get that cast piece of that bottom of that auger out. My concern is how I'm going to handle it, because it's heavy, and I can't just take the bolts out and let it fall. So I'm thinking about using some boards and kind of clamping them to the bucket of that loader, and trying to get them in there so we can lift with that. So I've got some boards, I've got some C-clamps, I got a ladder, I got a bunch of tools in the truck, so I'm going to head over there and see if we can't start working on that. Okay, I'm going to do my best to film this today, but I don't know how much I'll get or how much I won't. So just to kind of show you where we're starting out here. First thing I gotta do is take this off. I loosened that up, so I gotta pull them bolts out and get that out of the way. Then I'll take that chain off of that front sprocket, so it's just hanging off of that one out of the way. And then we've got to pull this row of bolts out here. I took one out. Oops, sorry. And we got to pull these out around here, in the front, up here, and I'm sure there's some back up in there. So once I get those bolts out, this piece should drop. And that's what I'm worried about, being heavy and falling. And so I got to figure out, before I get all the bolts out, I got to figure out how to support that and brace it so that it doesn't just drop. I'm thinking, looking at it, the best option is going to be to try and get a board under these and have like the loader forks out from right here, kind of reach underneath that shield, support it, and then hopefully I can drop it down real nice and easy. But that's the plan, so we'll see how it goes here. Our pile of corn down here is getting bigger, but it's all going to come out when I drop this out of here, so there's nothing I can do about it. I'm still trying to just let it drain on its own. We'll scoop most of this up with the loader on the tractor, the bucket, and put it in the grain cart, so no big deal. I've gotten some of those bolts out. I am a little bit concerned that the weight of that auger is all sitting on this cast piece as well, although it's not supposed to be. But I got some boards I'm going to take and shove them in there, in that hole in the top, or that inspection hole, and then try and wedge them into the auger up there so that it holds it up, just in case. In fact, I'm pretty sure that the splines where that auger is held onto that gearbox are not going to come apart anyway, but just in case, because the last thing I want is for all that weight of that auger and everything to be on there. So I'm going to do that now, and then I'll get my boards in here to try and support this and take some more bolts out. I should have some more help coming at some point too. Jack should be around, and Dad's getting them parts, so he won't be here till this afternoon. But my John Deere mechanic did text me last night. Said he actually had to come over to a place about 20 miles north of here first thing this morning, and I think he's going to stop by the field here when he's done with that. So just to help with getting all this stuff maybe apart, maybe back together. Those augers have to be timed in a specific spot, the flighting, so they don't hit, and he can certainly help with that. Okay, this is where I'm at. I've got that auger jammed up in there with the board, so it shouldn't come down, which I don't think it will anyway. I got these boards tied onto the loader bucket, and I got a block in there. There's a fair amount of pressure on them. My thought process is that I can take these remaining bolts out and it won't move too much, and then I can just use the loader to sort of slowly lower it down out of there. I don't know if that'll work or not. I just got a call from that John Deere mechanic. I didn't think he would be here till late morning or early afternoon, but he said he finished his job north of here already, so he's on his way. And he kind of said, just wait for me so you don't hurt yourself. And I think that's a good idea, so I'm gonna wait till he gets here to do the rest of this, but I'm just setting it up the way I think it'll work. If he has a different idea, we'll do it his way, because I've never done one before, or at least haven't done one for 9 years, so he did one yesterday. I'll let him mess with it. Well, we're making progress. We got it out of there and twisted it. Now we got to kind of let some of the corn drain out of the way, which is now plugged full in the cleaning fan, so that's great. All right, well, we got it out. Problem is this auger has to come off of that gear case. We can't get it here, so we're gonna take it back to the farm where we got some bigger hammers. You guys ever do a remodeling project in your house and you think you know what it's going to take to fix whatever you're trying to do or update, and you start tearing things apart and the job gets bigger and bigger because you got more and more problems that you got to fix? That's what this is turning into. So we've got the gearbox and the auger separated. This auger is clearly the problem. Not that the flighting is worn out, and I'm sure you can't see this, but hold on, let me turn my camera. Well, I guess you can see it. These are supposed to be splines in here, and they're gone. Completely worn out. So that's definitely what happened, is it spun on that shaft, made the augers get out of time and hit, caused it to plug up. The other end of that was stuck on this shaft, and these splines are not in great shape. Okay, that gearbox is out. Here's the new one. It goes up there. And there's still corn falling out, just making this more difficult. We're getting it. That's the other tube. That's the gearbox. That's me. It's getting rained on. We got bolts going in. Alright, it's held in place. You want to see me get rained on? That giant pile of corn is a nice platform to work off of, at least. Alright, we got that angle auger gearbox in there. The next step really is to put the vertical auger in, which is this one. This is the old one. Dad is bringing the new one. That was the part that he had to get, so he probably won't get here until 2 o'clock. It's about noon now. We can clean some stuff up a little bit while we're waiting for him, but there's not a whole lot we can do until that gets here. So I'm gonna go to lunch. Jack's gonna get a scraper, scrape some of that rotten stuff out of that gearbox, or that housing and stuff in there, and then maybe we'll stuff one of the augers back in the tube when I get back. We're making progress. I think we're gonna get it back together today, so that's good. Oh yeah, I was starting to say earlier, the splines on that bottom gear case, the one that drives everything that we took off, that was wedged onto that vertical auger, they're not in great shape. Now, it was not slipping there. It's not where the problem was, but it doesn't look good. So the problem is I can't get the part that I need for that anytime soon, or maybe tomorrow or the day after, but we want to get this thing back together and start shelling corn. So in order to do that, we're going to put it back together with what's in there. It's not, like I said, it's not what was broke, so it does work. And finish our 60 acres. And then this winter, guess what? We're going to take it back apart. We're going to rebuild that gearbox and make sure that we're good to go for next year. So that's frustrating that we're going to have to take this all back apart in 60 acres. Well, not all of it, but at least that gear case. But we got to make it right, and I don't want to have problems like this next year. So I think we'll be fine. Finish our 60 acres, and then do it again. Okay, I'm back from lunch. Jack has got these corners all cleaned out. Looks good. So we are ready to stick that auger in there. Dad just called me. He's on his way. Probably still be at least an hour before he gets here. So I think what I'm going to do is go back to the farm and grab the first section of auger that goes in there, and we can shove that in. And we can't put it all the way in yet, but we can get it close to that window or something so that we can have it there when we get the vertical auger in, and then get everything timed right and put it back together. The other thing that we can do is start cleaning up some of this pile of corn here. Yeah, that'll be fun. But we've got the loader bucket, so we'll just kind of scoop as much up as we can, or shovel it into there, and then dump it into the grain cart. Okay, got this first section of auger. Jack's driving the tractor. We're going to lift it up and put it right down in the end of that tube. Should be pretty easy, actually. All right. Now the fun part. Hold this, point it at what I'm doing.
I can't see.
Point it in the right direction. Well, we got a fair amount shoveled out of there. 3 bucket loads worth here. It's enough to make it easier to work, and we'll just pull the combine ahead. Then we can get to the rest of that pile that all got buried underneath it a little bit easier. As you can see underneath the corn head, we still got quite a bit of corn now. We just can't get to it real easy to scoop it up, so it's alright, it's a start. Dad should be here fairly soon, I think, with our auger, and then we can get the rest of this back together. Convenient that we had this tractor down here. We don't usually. We just brought it down the other day so we could do some mowing with it. And this bucket that we're using, we actually had in the barn down here back when my Uncle Dan was still alive and farming this stuff down here. He actually bought this tractor, or was bought for down here, replaced one of his old ones. And then after we started farming it, we kind of took it back up to Waldron because, well, it was more useful there, I guess. Yeah, so it was good to have it here. But this bucket, Dan made it. He actually did it himself instead of buying it. We've got a smaller one, but he built this one. It's extra big. Mostly it's for pushing snow. So it's not really meant to lift full, especially like sand or stone or something that's heavy. They overload the loader. But this corn's pretty light test weight, so it lifts it. We're good. Okay, while we're waiting for our auger to get here that we need, you guys are gonna get a little bonus footage today. It's convenient and easy for me to show you how this combine works, other than the corn raining down on me continuously. So we've talked about the corn head, and it comes in through the feeder house. There's basically a conveyor chain in there. And then there's a feed accelerator. And I haven't shown you that. I'm still not going to show it to you because it's hard to do. But basically it sits right in front of this wall, spins around real fast, and it throws the stuff into the rotor. This is basically what we call the rotor. Well, these black pieces with the holes in them are the concaves. And inside there, I don't know if you can see it real well. Hold on, let me turn the light on. So inside there, right there, you can see that that's called a threshing element, and it's got them grooves on it. And basically that thing inside there spins around really fast. Different speeds, we can adjust it depending on what we're combining. For corn, we actually run it fairly slow at about 300 RPMs. And then the ears get stuck between those threshing elements with the rifling on them and these concaves. These concaves will move up and down with this arm. And it adjusts the gap in between them. So what we want is for the gap to be basically the same size as a corn cob so that it can go through, but the kernels get ground off of it. And then the kernels, everything kind of flows through to the back of the machine as it goes around there. The kernels and the chaff and stuff kind of fall through the concaves down onto these augers here. These are called the shoe augers. And they just push everything to the back to our sieves. Remember, we've seen those from the back. So the stuff kind of falls through down there, and then there's a fan that blows air up through that. It's supposed to keep all the light stuff kind of in suspension in the air, and it flies out through the back. The corn, being heavier, falls down through. It's just like a sluice box on Gold Rush, right? So back here, we were looking in there, now we're looking in back here. This is kind of the back half of the rotor. And all this does is it's kind of similar, but it just has, let's see if I can find one. It's got fingers on it. You can kind of see one through there, sort of. Anyway, those fingers, they're actually called separating tines. Their job is just to keep moving stuff around and mixing it up so all the kernels fall through. The stalks and husks and ears or cobs are supposed to keep going right through the back. And then that stuff can fall on this pan. This pan shakes, pushes everything back forward, and then it goes back through there over the sieves. eventually falling down through them. There are 2 sieves in there. Looking into the fire. Okay, so now we're looking in the back of the combine. You can see them shoe augers up there. Push the grain back. There's the top chafer is what we call it that you're looking at. And then if you look down through there, you can see sort of that there's a second one. Anything that falls through both of them ends up underneath the combine. There's an auger that takes it over to the side, and then it goes up into the grain tank. Anything that goes through the first one but over the second one falls to the back here, and it goes into what we call the tailings. The tailings are basically stuff that might be grain, might not be grain. The combine didn't decide, more or less, so it's going to run it back through again. It comes across this auger, and then there's this elevator chain that takes it back up, and it dumps it in the top through that auger, and it runs it through again. You can see in our stuff there, that's mostly just ground up corn, but there are a few kernels in it. So part of the problem with wet corn is it grinds up really easy, especially when it's just not very good quality because it was planted so late and it didn't mature. So we're fighting that here. This one here, similar thing. That is where what we call the clean grain goes. That's anything that fell through both of those sieves. It goes in. There's a similar elevator chain. It's got paddles on it. This takes it up to clear to the top and puts it back in the grain tank. Once it's in the grain tank, obviously it stays there until we're ready to unload, which under normal circumstances, I can show you how that works because we've got it all apart now, so it's easy to see. There are 2 augers that run on the bottom of the grain tank. One right here, one right there. They bring everything into this housing here, and then that vertical auger that we're replacing sits in here, and it takes it up, makes the 90-degree corner out through the unloading auger. So there you have it. That's how the combine works. Bonus footage for today. Now, if only my parts would be here so we can actually run it. We're making progress. We got augers in. Getting ready to hang the tube back up. I think we got it all back together. Gotta pull some corn out of the fan yet. But it looks like a combine again. Okay, guys. Moment of truth. Everything is back together. Alright. The sun's out. It is a nice day. We might shell some corn yet. Let's see if the remaining corn in our grain tank will come out. It's turning. Corn's not moving very good, but there it comes. Excellent. That is what you want to see. This corn's wet and it's been sitting here for 3 days, so it's a little set up, but it'll flow out. Everything works. Oh man, that feels good. All right, 60 acres. You think we can make it 60 acres without anything else breaking? Yeah, me neither. Combine is moving. I'm happy. We're gonna see how much we can get done tonight. Probably not a lot, but we'll get maybe 20-25 acres. That'd be good. You know, this whole experience here working on this combine was hard enough because we were in the field and not doing it in a nice warm heated shop where we had all our tools and stuff. But the process was made quite a bit more unpleasant by the fact that we had to work next to this steaming pile of turkey manure. Can you see it steaming? It's literally steaming. See that? Yeah, fun. On the bright side, check out our sunset tonight. It's gonna be a good one. Ooh. There we go. Oh, it's a beautiful sight watching the corn come out of that auger. Well, things are going well. There's still corn coming out of the auger. The acres are still ticking down. And we've still got a pretty cool sunset. See how much we can do tonight. It's, what time is it here? 5:59, 6 o'clock. So we got a couple hours we can work and get a fair amount done. Hopefully at least get these long rows done. Then we can finish shelling without the grain cart if we need to. So, but actually today was pretty decent drying day. I know it rained yesterday, but it didn't really rain very much, and the ground conditions are probably the best they've been since we got all that snow a week and a half ago. So that's a good thing. Hopefully tomorrow will be a good day too. It would appear we have a light out on the back of the combine. Supposed to be one right there. See? I told you we couldn't make it through the rest of harvest without another breakdown. So while we ordered or wanted a new tube for the end of that auger there, remember that one with a hole in it? The dealer couldn't get it in. They got it now, but they didn't have it by the time we were there getting parts today. So I fixed the old one. See that? Duct tape. Works every time. Check it out, guys. I'm pretty sure the combine felt bad for me. That light came back on all by itself. I didn't do anything. All right, well, we got the long rows there done. Dad's doing end rows on this last corner 40 we got here. We're down to a little less than 40 acres to go. We're not going to get it done tonight, but we're going to get close enough that we'll be able to finish it tomorrow pretty easy. So that is a good thing. In case you think I'll have any problems with volunteer corn next year, I'm sure it'll be fine. I was gonna tell Dave to just scoop it up or let his ducks and his chickens run out there. They could eat all that corn that we spilled and couldn't clean up. But he can't even do that. His farmer's market ducks and chickens have to be non-GMO because that matters apparently. Whatever. It's free corn. This is going to be a problem. Gonna need a little fuel tonight. Actually, I think we're going to fill one more truck up and call it a night, and then we'll be able to finish this tomorrow. All right, guys, we're calling it a night. We had a pretty good day today. We got this field done, and we got about 10 acres or so off that corner 40 there. So we're down to, I'm going to call it 30 acres officially to go in 2019's harvest. Not just corn harvest, harvest in general. We're almost done. So tomorrow we should be able to do that pretty easily. Of course, barring any major equipment malfunctions. Phil hauled enough dry corn out of our drain system down here that we should have plenty of room to fit the rest of the wet corn in the bins and get it through the dryers, no problem. Yeah, one more day. You gotta take. It's getting a little cold tonight. There's frost on stuff already. It's making the dryers real steamy. Okay, well, let's wrap up today. Got the combine fixed. Big deal. That's good. That was a major project to get that done, so I'm happy that we've got the combine running. We did about 30 acres, which doesn't seem like a great day, but for where we started, that's pretty good. We're down to 30 to go. Phil's going to be here drying corn for a while yet tonight. I offered to stay. He said no, so I guess I'll go home. He said the dryer should be done around midnight, so yeah, we're getting there. Tomorrow should be the last day. Dad's going to come down early tomorrow morning and try and chisel. Since it's getting cold, we think the ground might be frozen over just enough on top to not be so muddy, and we'll get some traction to be able to do some tillage work. So that's a good thing, and yeah, we're getting close. So guys, hope you're enjoying the videos. Got a little bonus footage with how the combine works stuff today, so that was kind of cool. I know yesterday's video was not real exciting, except for my kid there at the end, but other than that, it was kind of boring. So fortunately, there's days like today that are quite a bit more exciting, and it kind of makes up for that. So yeah, we're gonna have those. Yeah, I guess I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's gonna be another exciting day because it's the last day of harvest 2019. Have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow. Like, subscribe. Find me on Instagram. Leave me comments. I appreciate them, and we'll see you tomorrow.